Hey, welcome to another episode of The American Dream, the only show that goes against the grain of that negative media. Today, we got a great show lined up for you where my goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American dream. Let's go ahead and start the show right now. Every single day, you are consumed with information. With the 24/7 negative news cycle and a pop culture that's polluting the airways, all selling out for the ratings game. Well, guess what? There's a more positive way to look at life. You live in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. Every day with our elite network of professionals, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage. And now it's time to fight for your American dream. Now joining us on The American Dream, one of our favorite guests, the king of influence.
That's it.
Roberto Monaco.
What's up, buddy?
What's the latest with you? We haven't had you on the show in a while.
I know, just changing lives, traveling, telling stories.
You just got out of Seattle, like a 3,000 person event?
Actually, was in Costa Mesa. Seattle was like a 100-person event for a technology company.
Okay.
Then I flew to Costa Mesa, spoke for an event called Cow Jam. Awesome. 2,500 people. It's a great event.
So you're just traveling the world, just making a massive social impact.
That's it. That's the goal. That's the purpose.
So for any of our audience members who don't know you or what you do, explain what it is. Explain InfluenceOlogy, your company, and what...
So InfluenceOlogy is about helping people communicate a message that's congruent with someone's identity, values, and purpose. And when that person, he or she communicates the message, moves the audience into action. So we are a public speaking presentation training company.
I saw something that you posted on social media not too long ago about the law of, I don't know if it was a post or I heard you say it.
Okay.
But the law of attraction, like the law of action.
Oh, yes. You know, because a lot of people think like, oh man, law of attraction is cool, but that's half the way. And it's, right. Like how many, travel engagements have you had last year? How many? How many?
I was in 30 cities in 6 months.
That's a lot of action.
Yeah.
Imagine you attracting, man, I want to be in 30, 40 markets in America. I want to attract. Man, without going flying there, it won't happen.
Without getting your ass on a plane.
And you actually go there and talk to people.
So that's what I love about your message is you're teaching people how to kind of visualize their success, communicate it, but then actually take action and see results.
100%.
So what have you done recently in your speaking engagements? What are some of the things you've spoken to?
Well, on Thursday, I was talking about the art of selling with the stories. And the stories are so important because every time you tell a story to an audience, there's a principle called identification.
Okay,
which is very simple. That means that when I tell a story, the audience member or prospective buyer or seller, they can see himself or herself in the story. So kind of like when you tell a story and I see myself in the story, I don't resist anymore. So how can I resist me? I can't, right?
Right.
So that's why stories and movies are so powerful because we identify ourselves with the main character of the story. And I'm like, man, that person is just like me. And if the person is just like me, my resistance goes down. And most of us are trained in business to try to sell with facts. And the idea is that people can counter-argue facts. Nobody can counter-argue your stories.
Okay, that's actually a big takeaway here. So let's keep this centered around business, right?
Okay.
Or business professionals, salespeople, whatever you might
100%.
do for a living. So facts, breaking something down, bullet points, slides, you create an opportunity for somebody to be able to counter that.
Yes.
Storytelling, what you're doing is you're creating a little bit of a paradigm shift where you're getting them to empathize and relate.
100%. Now, It's not like I just only tell stories. I think that in business, when you pitch an idea, facts are important.
Sure.
But it's not like only facts. I believe, and I teach, is both. And the best way, when you explaining a fact, you have a transitional phrase called, let me give an example. So just say with me, let me give an example.
Let me give an example.
Then you go into the story.
Sure.
Right? So for example, stories
Okay, so reference a fact.
Yeah.
Right, so something you're trying to teach your audience about or a point you're trying to make, and let me give you an example is the story you're going to frame around it.
100%. So I'm working with this guy. He sells compliance. And he, like most business people, he goes in and overwhelms people with facts and data.
Sure.
But he couldn't close. So what happened is he came, I started working with him, and I told him, look, we're going to cut your content in half. He freaked out. He's like, half? I say,
right.
Half. And the other half, we replaced with the stories. And then he left my coaching session, and the first gig, he closed 40K in the first presentation. 3 years, he increased 400% his business by adopting this culture of storytelling.
So some people are better at storytelling than others. What advice would you give to people that maybe don't have a knack for it necessarily? How would you get someone started to integrate it into their business and their communication?
Just think in terms of like, by the way, anybody is a natural storyteller. When they go like Friday night, they have a beer with their buddies, what they're doing, you know?
Sure.
They're storytelling.
Yeah.
So most people are just not used or trained to bring that storytelling that they already know into the business context. So it's about awareness. For example, one thing that you can do is that every time you're gonna sit down for a sales presentation, a meeting, you always ask yourself, okay, what are my major points I'm about to tell this person? And then what are maybe one or two stories to illustrate my major points? So I always have a story in my back pocket, always have.
Yep. Well, Roberto Monaco's got a great story himself from Brazil. I'm sure people have picked up on the accent.
Which accent?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Arkansas, right?
Arkansas.
Yeah, southern accent. So from Brazil, came to the U.S., talk about an American dream as an immigrant, came over, didn't even know English.
Nope. Some people still think that, hey, maybe he doesn't know English.
Gets it across and tells great stories. Worked with Tony Robbins,
for 6 years.
InfluenceOlogy is your company where you are helping businesses to learn the skills that can help them have an impact on whatever their purpose is.
I have worked with 36 different industries, from attorneys to dentists, chiropractors, mortgage brokers, real estate agents, you know.
You're the man.
Yeah, I love it.
Connect with Roberto online, InfluenceOlogy, great speaking platform, great coach right here.
One more thing, if you don't share your story, the marketplace will create one about you. So go and speak today.
More of the American Dream coming up next.